Welcome friends for the new video that is on the standards for environmental performance in manufacturing. Myself Dr. Atul D. Dhale, Professor in DJ Sanghvi College of Engineering in the Production Engineering Department. In week 1, we have seen the video on the introduction to sustainable manufacturing, and in that generally we have seen the 3 types: sustainable manufacturing, clean technology and green products. Here in this video we'll try to discuss about the standards for the manufacturing industries, environmental standard of course. Now for getting into this, first we should know what are the industrial environmental performance metrics, on the what basis we can find out whether the energy is using less or more. So according to International Organization of the Standards 14031, the system groups metrics according to their utility in 3 areas, that is making operational decision, making management decision and assessing the condition of the external environment. The first, the examples of the operational metrics for evaluating the environmental performance, that is based on the materials, that means the quantity of material used per unit of the product, quantity of water per unit of the product, quantity of processed, recycled or reused material, quantity of packaging material discarded or reused per unit of product, quantity of water reuse, quantity of hazardous materials used in the production process. Then the energy. Under energy, quantity of energy used per year per unit of product, quantity of energy used per service of the customer, quantity of each type of energy use and quantity of energy units saved due to the energy conservation. Then the physical facility and the equipment. Number of pieces of the equipment with parts designed for easy disassembly. Then recycling and reuse. Number of freight delivers by mode, number of vehicles in the fleet with pollution abatement technology, number of products that can be reused or recycled, average fuel consumption of the vehicle fleet. Then one more classification is products, number of products introduced in the market with reduced hazardous properties. Then the waste, quantity of waste per year or per unit of the product, total waste for the disposal, quantity of hazardous waste recycled and the quantity of hazardous waste eliminated due to the material substitution. And the emission, the quantity of specific emission per year, quantity of specific emission per unit product, quantity of waste energy, quantity of air emission having ozone depletion potential, quantity of air emission having the global climate change potential. So these are the different parts, or you can say the classification on the basis of the operational matrix for evaluating the environmental performance. Similarly, some examples of management metrics for evaluating the environmental performance: number of achieved objective and the targets, number of pollution prevention initiative implemented, number of levels of management with specific environmental responsibilities, number of employees whose job description include the environmental responsibility, number of employees trained versus the number that need training, sales revenue attributed to a new product or by product designed to meet environmental performance objectives. So there are number of objectives for the management and the examples of the environmental condition metrics for evaluating the environmental performance, like air, concentration of specific contaminant in ambient air at selected monitoring locations, odor measured as specific distance from the organization facility, water concentration of specific contaminant in groundwater or surface water, turbidity measured upstream and downstream of the facility wastewater discharge point, dissolved oxygen in receiving water, then land concentration of specific contaminant in surface soils at locations in the area surrounding the facility, defined local area rehabilitated, then flora and fauna, the quantity and quality of vegetation in a defined local area, number of animal species in a defined local area, then population of a particular animal species within a definite distance of facility, and the quality of habitat for the specific species in the local area. So these are the different metrics on the basis of which we can define the environmental evaluating performance matrix. Now, according to this International Standard Organization established a method for evaluating environment influence of manufacturing system, that energy, resource consumption and pollution. The standard is ISO 20140. So there are 5 parts of this standard. In these standards, the first part, it gives the overview and general principle. The second part, that is the guidelines for the environmental evaluation procedure. This establishes the procedures for environmental evaluation and will guide how to use the parts 3 to 5. So 20140.3, this is the environmental evaluation index model. This specifies the model for the environmental indices, example energy efficiency for manufacturing system index. The fourth, environmental evaluation data model. This specifies the data model for environmental evaluation of the manufacturing system. And the fifth part of this ISO standard, it is the facility life cycle impact and indirect impact model. This specifies the data models for the facility life cycles, direct and indirect impact on the environment. So, some examples of the categories of likely required data in the manufacturing industry, that is the manufacturing machine, facility, machine tool, conveyors, these are the examples. Tooling and jigs and fixtures, how much the energy consumed, materials, which are the different types of materials, then the product, definition, quality, function. So we have to define which type of product it is, what is the quality of that product, what is the function of that product. Then for manufacturing, what is the process plan, production plan, other production resources, and environmental evaluation data, intensity data, impact factor, etc. So based on this data, evaluation procedure and the environmental index can be clearly defined. Then for the precision manufacturing engineering, ISO 14955 1 constitute the application of eco-design standards to machine tool, mainly for automatically operated and or numerically controlled machine tool. Then the second part of this, the method of testing of energy consumption of machine tool and the functional module. This document describes how the measurements are made by providing the measuring methods in order to produce the reproducible data about the energy supplied to machine tool under specified condition. Then the third part, it is the test pieces or test procedure and the parameters for energy consumption on metal cutting machine tools. And the number 4, it is the test pieces or test procedures and the parameters for energy consumption on metal forming machine tools. These are the different machine tools which we are using in the manufacturing industries. So according to that, we have to classify that, and then according to that, we can find out the impact on the environment of that. This, interestingly, the last standard mentioned will provide the guidelines for designing the machine tools to meet certain efficiency goals, and then indicate what kind of parts That means the shape, complexity, processes needed to evaluate how well the machine does. So, because according to the shape, complexity, and the process, especially for the metal forming machine tools, the energy consumption and all, it varies. So, this way, these are the different environmental standard which we are using for the manufacturing industries. Thank you very much, friends, and see you. Bye.